Hey everyone, welcome to the channel where we talk about all things movies. Welcome especially if you're new. If you enjoy talking about movies and staying up to speed on what's in theaters and what's worth checking out, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my reviews when they post. Alright, with that, we're going to get right on into today's review, which is for Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. I just got back from seeing it, so we're going to talk about it now. Alright, so to begin, we'll just go over a brief synopsis. So, and this movie's about a widowed cleaning lady in the 1950s London who falls madly in love with a Dior dress and decides that she must have one of her own. So we're just gonna get into. It's not like spoilers, like oh, don't get this movie spoiled. But I'm gonna talk about the plot kind of throughout. So it's technically gonna be a spoiler review, and that's just because there's enough here that I want to talk to and not just speak generally about. So, yeah, spoiler warning. Proceed if you don't care or if you've seen the movie. So. First up, I really enjoyed the music for this film. It's not like super thematic or anything, but it's a lot of strings and piano and just really fit the mood of the movie, which kind of felt a bit like Downton Abbey sort of vibes for me. So I really enjoyed the music. I hope it's available to listen to on Amazon Music because I'm gonna go check it out if it is. And then in general, as far as like kind of the technicals of the movie, I thought that they were about average. Like nothing jumped out and nothing seemed lacking. But it definitely felt very much like a movie for what it was. So it felt fit for the time. It felt like more of a period piece, and so I thought they had kind of the feel of the film that was good. But getting into kind of specifics, first up, we're just going to talk about Mrs. Harris. And I really liked her character. I mean, I don't know who wouldn't like her character, but maybe some people would think she's a bit too perfect. But I really liked just how like good of a person she is. She leads just kind of a simple life, and then there's like a number of things that go her way that makes like so she comes into a fairly large sum of money. And there again, I liked that it was kind of multiple things. Like typically for a movie like this, I think you would see like, oh, they won the lottery. But like this, she won the lottery but also got like some widow's pension from her husband having passed away, and then got some money on winning for a bet on a race, and then got some money because she did the right thing when she found a diamond ring in the street and returned it to the owner, like turned it into the police. So like there when she found the ring, I'm like, oh, is she gonna cash that in? But no, she's a good person. She returned it, and they gave her something in return. But the yeah, I liked how it wasn't just one big thing. It was kind of a series of things. And that made the beginning of the film maybe a little bit slower, but I didn't mind it. I thought that was maybe one of my critiques of the film is the first act was maybe a little bit slow, but once she got to Paris, I thought it rolled quite along. So yeah, I just really liked her character though. She always does kind of the nice thing, but she is also taking time to live for herself. Like she's spending money on an experience to go to Paris and get this dress. And yeah, I thought she was a very well balanced mindset that way. And then, when her adventure is over, she returns home and, returns to her cleaning. But yeah, it was definitely very heartbreaking in the end when she like you knew that she was going to decide to let her young friend use the dress, and which in my opinion didn't make the most sense because that was one other minor critique I had of the film. They made such a big deal about how you have to get your measurements and that sort of thing, and I feel like the dress wouldn't have fit her friend, but I guess they were maybe similar enough in size, but yeah, that was, I don't know, I had to suspend belief just a little bit for that part. But then to see it get ruined, and she was like, her friend was just so careless about it. It wasn't even, like, it was an accident that was completely her fault. And yeah, part of me is like, oh, that's probably going to turn around because a lot of what we saw in the film was when Mrs. Harris kind of does something nice, then like, and sometimes it's at her own cost, then she's usually repaid for that one way or the other, like especially going back to the diamond ring. But it wasn't in the way that I was expecting. I thought that they were going to see the news of that and like they were going to repay her by making her another of that same dress that she originally got. I was definitely surprised when she got the dress that she originally wanted, which was the Temptation. So I thought that was a nice way to end the film, and yeah, it was. I don't know. It was a very pleasant time just spending time with this character. She's just a very nice person, and I think the world could use a lot more people like her. But going on to some of the other characters, I thought her friends Archie and Vi were good enough. I thought they didn't really stand out. I do enjoy Oscar Isaacs, or Jason Isaacs, excuse me. Or I think it's just Jason Isaac. I don't know if there's an S on there. I always get him mixed up with Oscar Isaacs. They have similar enough names, but I believe it's Jason Isaac. And yeah, I like him in a lot of stuff that I've seen him in. I especially liked him in Mass last year. That was one of my favorite films. So it was interesting to see him play just kind of a different character with a very thick Irish accent and that sort of thing. But yeah, I think they're not in the film a whole lot. They're a little bit in the beginning and the end, but a lot of the side characters are from when she's in France, and I liked a lot of those. I thought Andre was interesting, as was Natasha. I think a lot of them maybe come across as fairly straightforward and stereotypical or cliche, but I thought that was fine. This isn't the most revolutionary film. At the end of the day, for me, it was just a feel-good film. So I liked kind of their relationship and seeing it kind of grow as they are attracted to one another. But it takes Mrs. Harris kind of pushing each of them to get them to admit their feelings for each other. And then I thought the Marquis was an interesting character, and there again, it didn't surprise. Well, it did surprise me a little bit how that all played out. I kind of saw some of it coming, but then I didn't see. I thought perhaps Mrs. Harris would just end up staying in Paris, but no, that didn't work out for her. I don't know that I entirely bought her being as upset as she was at him comparing her to the cleaning lady that he knew from his school growing up. But I mean, on some level, I can see how she takes offense and that's all you see me as. But I don't know. I think he certainly didn't intend it that way. I can see how it came across that way. But he was saying he knew that she reminded him of somebody, and it so happened to be a cleaning lady. But what reminded him of her was her kindness and how she can make people feel better, and that was the part that reminded him of her, and it wasn't the fact that they were both cleaning ladies. So I thought she kind of overreacted to that, but at the same time I can understand her feeling that way. So yeah. And then I really liked the main lady of the Dior store. I forget her name, but I thought that she was, again, very realistic in how the character was written. I think you need to have that sort of very business driven and stick to the rules sort of attitude to run a store like that. But then I really appreciated getting a peek inside her own life where she doesn't have necessarily a perfectly carefree home life, that she takes care of her husband who's ill and she has her own troubles. But she's also, I think there again, she had a very natural reaction oh, you want to take the store in a different direction. I don't really want to have a part of that. But then she listens, and they're able to convince her that, they still need her, even though they want to kind of go down a new path. But yeah, overall, I thought while the film isn't, terribly revolutionary, to kind of sum up my thoughts on it, I thought it was a very charming film overall. And I think most of the film, I was kind of in the B category, but by the end, I actually got it up to the A category. And I think there's several reasons for that. I really liked the message of the film, that it's, the importance of just being a good person, and something ultimately things worked out for her, but it's not that everything will always work out for you if you're a good person. Sometimes that means that you do something that comes at a personal cost, but it benefits other people. But sometimes it does mean that it'll work out. But the important thing is that you're a good person for the sake of being a good person, and caring for other people, and that sort of thing. So I really liked the message of the film. I also think it was just, I don't know, it was nice to have just a carefree film. Looking back on the 2 hours of the runtime, it was a pretty hectic day for me, and it was just with work and everything. So it was really nice to just kind of get that escape. And that's one thing I love about movies. Like, my mind wasn't racing about work and this and that. I was able just to, focus on the movie and kind of check out for a couple hours. And this was just the perfect movie for that. It's just a charming, feel-good movie. So it's not one that demands to be seen on the big screen by any means, but I think if you're going to the theater and looking for something to watch, I do recommend it. But I think it's certainly something worth checking out on streaming when it hits the streaming services. So yeah, that's my spoiler review for Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. If you've seen the film, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. What parts of it did you like the most? Was it as feel-good of a film for you as it was for me, or was it the sort of thing that you feel like you've seen it before, so it kind of wasn't the most fresh? But I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe so that you don't miss any of my reviews when they post. Alright, with that, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.